Stop building your life around your wounds. For so long, we're so accustomed to how things are that we just think, okay, this is the way it's always going to be. And because I'm being intentional about who I'm choosing to become, how I want to show up in the digital space, in real life, that I have to rewire how I'm choosing to see myself and exist from the work that has been done, right? I do not need to live my life through the wound. I can live my life through the healed version of myself. I am no longer the person that makes decisions from fear and scarcity. I make decisions from self-respect and integrity. Now, where this can sometimes feel split is that if internally I know this, but externally my choices don't seem to reflect my internal compass. I may say, for example, I love swimming, I love creative projects, I love the beauty of life, but my life is not reflecting that. If I love swimming, how come I haven't been swimming for so long? Just as an example. So when I talk about stop building your life around the wounds, it's like start building your life around the healing, around the love, around the care, around the intention, the commitment, the sacredness. We can often romanticize the past, because it's what was, but what is now, what's present, what's current, and existing from that place of being. And also not to look like what you're going through as well. That is also another thing that I'm learning internally, but also seeing that as conversation people are having. Like, just because you're going through a hard time, you don't have to look like you're going through a hard time. Like, a lot of the time people say, say for example, unemployment, right? You have to look like you're unemployed. No, I'm not looking like I'm unemployed because I intend to be employed. So I am living for the version of me that is going to be employed. I'm living for the version of me that has got the commission, that has got the project, that has, sold how many books. I'm living from the version of me that has 108, 1,000 followers, 200,000 followers, 300,000 followers, subscribers, turning those people into real life connections and real life events. I'm living from the version of me that, does workshops on self-love and self-development. I'm living from the version of me that, I lead with love. You come in and around my proximity and my energy, my intention is for you to feel safe, relaxed, and you can be your authentic self. I'm not living from the version who wasn't sure about herself, that would overgive, that would be in less fulfilling relationships and call it something, that would feel like I'm scrapping at breadcrumbs for desires and care and love. No, because if you do the work on yourself, that part of you have to put flowers at the feet of that person and move on to who you're choosing to become, because that's the only way you're going to truly grow, is that you move with the time and know that you deserve to move with that time. If you feel like you feel abundant, right? If you feel abundant, then live from your abundance. Don't live from scarcity, but still wishing and hoping for abundance. At some point we have to put the tools down and just truly embody what we're living and what we've been heading towards, and live in that alignment and fulfillment. Because otherwise, what are we doing? That means we're always going to be feeling that the world needs to dangle the carrot and we constantly need to be chasing it. Eventually we catch the carrot. Eventually we catch it, yeah, and we sit down and we enjoy it. And that can look like our ideas coming into fruition, a new connection being birthed, a friendship restored, new romance, you know, having children, moving country, living like there comes a time when you just sit in it and you bask in that enjoyment, that contentment, because life is always flowing, right? And joy is always flowing, same way as stress and heartache can flow. Joy, love is always flowing. It just depends on what timeline we're on. And so I had to catch myself in that with a few reflections that I've been doing as well. And my way of understanding myself is that I can't sleep, I can't keep being in self-development. Eventually something has to have developed. You know what I mean? Something has to have developed, and then I live from that development, you know. And then as time goes on, there might be something else that needs to get changed, evolved, removed, whatever. But I can't just be constantly becoming. Eventually I have to have became, and I've become. You know what I mean? I am that person. I'm reclaimed. I'm grounded. I'm centered. And then with that, my external life reflects my internal truth. So yeah, day 5 of 100 days of posting. And what I'm learning about this is that it's being consistent, but it's also coming to the camera with something to reflect on and talk about, you know, and not just committing because I've made a commitment, but coming to the space and bringing substance.